Do you want to learn how to import 3D objects into the Fusion page inside of Davinci Resolve? Well, this video is for you. I did a video on this a while back, but I decided to remake it because that was done in Davinci Resolve 15. I've also learned a little bit more about it, so now this tutorial will hopefully explain it a little bit better. But before we get into the video, make sure you guys hit the like button, as well as subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out when I upload a new video. But with that being said, let's jump into Fusion. So now there's like three ways that you can do it. So first you'll just become a Fusion, import, and then FBX Mesh or FBX Scene. Okay, when you click that, it'll create the node and open up this folder here. So I can navigate to it and then import it. So here's my model. I want the OBJ one if I just move this out, or the one that doesn't have an extension here. It's the 3D object, not the MLT or the E3D. So if I click that and then hit open, it'll just load this for me, okay? And then once this is done, it'll bring up this pop-up window. Alright, so there we go, we got a pop-up window. So then we can choose the settings that we want to import, or all the stuff that we want to import from it. But I just want to hit OK. It has everything that I need. And now it has imported a bunch of stuff here. And if we view the final transform, if we zoom out, I have my model. Okay, so we can actually delete most of this other stuff here. This is just going to be a texture thing. So let's just delete all that. We do not need it. But then we can use the transform to get it into the position that we want, so it's centered. This model is just off center. But I'm going to delete this and show you some of the other ways. So next one, we'll just be doing shift space and then typing FBX and then hitting enter here. Or if it's a supported file type, you can just drag it right into Fusion from your file explorer. And now I have a mesh node, and when I view that, it'll just take a minute to load, and then it will be there. But now that's loaded, as you can see, I'm panning around here, and it's not really lagging at all yet, so that's really nice. So I'm going to come into the FBX mesh here, and I'm just going to bring the size way down, and then just drag it up. And for when viewing the models without any textures or anything, just right-click, do 3D options, and say shadows. So that'll turn on just a basic lighting and shadow thing. So now we can see what this looks like. And this is just a volcano model that I got off productioncrate.com. So if you're interested in checking out their models, they have a bunch of stuff like explosions and fire as well. There's a link down below to where you can do that. Alright, so now for putting the texture on this. For this, I'm going to be using a cook tolerance node, okay? So if I just search that and hit enter, I now have this node that has a ton of inputs to it. I'll just plug the output into the green input on our FBX mesh, and then navigate to the folder in which I have the textures. So first up, I'm just going to have the diffuse texture, and the diffuse texture is going to be the one that has like all the color. It's just the main texture of the model. So I'm just going to rename this to diffuse. And if I hold right click when clicking on that, and then release it on the cook tolerance node, I'll get this little drop down menu. So I can hit the diffuse color material. And now this is looking a little bit better. Alright, but we're still missing out on some stuff. So next up, I have my normal map, or the bump map. So if I view this off to the side, it's most likely going to be purple. And when I do shift space, I have to add in a bump map node after it, otherwise it will not work. And then I have to plug that into the bump map material. Okay. And then finally, I have a luminance. So that's what it's going to look like right there. So I'm just going to say lum. I actually forgot to name the bump map. Let's do that. And if I right click, I can put this into the specular intensity. Okay. And now it hasn't changed too much, but that's because we don't have as many lights in the scene. So after this mesh here, let's add in a merge 3D, as well as a camera and a render node. And if I put the render node into the media out, we can view this merge off to the side, as well as view the media out on this side. And then in the camera, I can just drag this out and get this position how I would like it. So let's just come out, and I can do use target here, so that points to wherever I specify. So let's do something like that. So there we go, we can do that. And what I'm going to do is just throw in a transform 3D after the camera. Come to the first frame, add a keyframe on the Y, then go to the last frame, and then just have it rotate around like this. And I'll get this kind of cool animation. So I'll just have it rotate around once, so it's 360 degrees. So next I'll do some lights, just with the spotlight to start. I will add a target on that as well, so I can just drag this out. And in our 3D view here, we can see the light, but in order to see it in the render, we have to enable lighting and shadows. Alright, so there we go. So I want to get this light as close as possible without, or with it still lighting everything up, because that way our shadows will be higher resolution. You can of course change that in the shadows down here with the shadow map size. It just makes it a little bit slower to render. So there we go. We can probably get away with it being about that close, and then I will add in an ambient light, and then with this I can just brighten up the rest of the scene a little bit. I'm going to add a directional light on the other side of the image, or just plug it in and then take the rotation and flip it around. So we have some light being cast onto the back as well. Not necessary, I'm just doing it for a little demonstration here. I'll just make that a good amount darker, and there we go. Alright, well that is how you import an FBX mesh inside of Davinci Resolve, or any 3D object for that matter. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on a new video. Again, if you want to get the model that I used, it is on productioncrate.com, link down below. But with all that being said, I'll see you guys next time for another video.